I want to welcome everyone to our luncheon and let you know we've got a really great lineup for you today. I also want to, before we really get into this, and please keep writing, I want to thank our whole advancement team for converting the field house into this wonderful lunch with a wonderful dining experience, for getting the lunch and putting all this together. It takes a lot more work than you could ever realize to pull all this off. So let's give a big round of applause to our advancement team for doing this for us today. I'm sitting here thinking, the Baylor that you're graduating from continues to get better and better. And I'm sitting here thinking, you're writing on the car that you'll open in 10 years. And it excites me to think about what you will do between this day and that reunion. And I can't wait to see what that is. And it makes me think, gosh, I wish that I'd had the opportunity to experience a lot of what you're getting to experience at Baylor. It's an amazing time to be here. And one of the things that you'll hear me talk several times over the next 10, 11 days. But one of the things that you heard Ms. Glasscock say is you'll be connected to over 8,000 other Baylor alums that shared in this experience. And there's so many cool opportunities to connect with Baylor alums after you graduate. You're gonna realize really how important this alumni network and connection is the older you get. And I was talking, last week I was at the track meet and I was talking to several alums who were back and they're like, gosh, Mr. Angel, make sure and tell the seniors just how lucky they are. And these guys were just only removed by a year and two in one case. And they're like, it's just, we really miss being a part of this community. So I challenge you to stay connected, even though you're gonna go out in separate ways. As I've said many times throughout your time, you'll be Red Raiders for life, and it's really important to come home, sing the alma mater with pride with current students, and continue to do that. Now you're all, like today, from here on out, we're gonna go to awards day in a little bit. We're going to then go on to, we've got a couple things tonight to celebrate. We've got some games that we can cheer on. We've got several other athletic things to do as we head into next week. Spring Fling is a big part of who we are, and I want to continue that long-standing tradition of success. I'm really excited about what's coming up there. I'm also really excited for those of you who are attending the senior trip. I was talking to some students earlier and was saying that I can't wait. I'm going on the senior trip. I'm excited about it. I'm going on the first day. I'll be sleeping in the woods with all of you on Friday night. And it's something that I love. We talk about making students uncomfortable and what we all learn from that. Well, it's something that, I guess 35 years ago, I was sitting here. In fact, this field house was built my senior year. It opened my senior year. And so we were the first senior class to be in this field house when it was built. And then I went on the senior trip, and I had never done a single thing in walkabout my entire Baylor career. And I fell in love with it to the point when I came back as a teacher right after college and living on campus and teaching and coaching. And I went on the senior trip, and I was like, I want to do this. And because of some of the activities I got exposed to on the trip that you're about to go on, I then took some lessons and learned how to kayak and got into that a lot with walkabout later afterwards. But I had not done any of it going into it. And so I really hope you go into it with an open mind, excited about it, and knowing that we'll all be in it together, and we'll also be cheering on our classmates who are going to be in the spring fling, representing our school in some amazing ways. So the cool thing is we're also going to the same camp where I went, where a couple of my classmates went. You're going to hear from a couple of my classmates today. Very rarely does a week pass where I don't hear from multiple classmates. That's the bond that Baylor forms, and it's what you know. So to really kick off the program today, I'm going to ask one of my classmates to come forward. She's no stranger to you in this class. She is involved in many ways as a first female board chair. She is parent of senior Blake Bogo, and it's sister of Helen Guerry. She is, I will say this too, and then I'll let her get up and speak. One of the things that was really cool for me is when my 7th and 8th grade years at Baylor, we were all male. And then my 9th grade year, we got the news, like going into our 9th grade year, that we are going to go co-ed. And we were excited about that. So, and then when I look back now, it was the best decision the school ever made, and I'm really grateful to our Board of Trustees for making that decision. But really cool. So there were only 20 girls in my 9th grade class that first year, and we went into our first, we had a legendary, you've heard of Worsham Arena, Worsham Lobby, Major Worsham. First class we had was a biology class, and he was a legendary teacher. And if you think about spreading 20 girls out over a whole grade, sometimes you just had one. In that first class, I had one girl in my 9th grade biology class, and it just so happens that is Alexis Guerry Bogo. So it's pretty neat how that connection now leads us to be able to serve in the capacities that we serve in. So please join me in welcoming Alexis Bogo to the stand.
Hello, class of 2024. I cannot believe how fast this year went. I am sure you were sitting in those chairs at your senior lunch thinking the same thing. At the beginning of the year, I had an opportunity to speak to a group of you, and I said, "Are you ready to be seniors? Are you ready to lead the school?" And the answer I got back was, "We're ready to be seniors, but we're not ready for it to be over." And I thought, what a testament to the Baylor experience, to the fun you guys have had and continue to have. And then just last week, I was talking to a different group, and I'm like, oh my God, can you believe it's almost over? Like, are you nervous? Are you excited? And the answer I got was, we just need the days to slow down, right? Such is life. Unfortunately, the longer you live, the more you realize time just goes faster and faster and faster. And there's a country music song called Next Thing You Know. I don't know if any of you know it, but I love it. And it really talks about this theme, about the speed of life. And the song is his whole life in 3 or 4 minutes, right? Just boom. He hits the highlights, right? The next thing you know moments. But in the song, he's lived his life. It goes that fast. Well, for me, and Chris alluded to it, this is definitely a next thing you know moment. 35 years ago, I was sitting where you are, a senior about to graduate from Baylor. And then 35 years later, next thing you know, I'm standing up here, chairman of the board. My friend and classmate, Chris Angel, is head of the school. My friend and classmate, Schmitty, is head of residential life. And my son's getting ready to graduate. Just like that, next thing you know, I'm standing here. Well, this is a next thing you know moment for you guys too, right? It wasn't 2 seconds ago you were in elementary school doing the, birthday parties in the classrooms and the field trips, and then you got to middle school and you were doing sort of the awkward thing, everyone's trying to find their footing. And then you get to high school and it becomes fun. We had a little COVID mixed in, a state championship, you learned how to drive. And then from what I'm hearing from all of you, you've had the best senior year ever, and it's what I've seen as well. So the difference in that song between you and me is that you've lived 20% of that song, whereas I've lived 60% of that song at this stage of life. And when we've lived longer than you, and I'm sure you've experienced this, as parents and as friends, we like to offer advice, right? Guidance. We want you to learn from the mistakes we've made. Well, at my house over these last years, the kids that have come in and out of my doors, I've had these moments of guidance and advice. And for some reason, they're always classified as lectures. That's what I always get. No matter how friendly or how firm my advice is or my guidance, it's always classified as a lecture. So today I was thinking about, what do I want to say to them? Because the last thing in the whole wide world I want to do at your senior lunch is lecture you with some guidance or advice that, a typical parent might give you. So I was thinking about that, and I decided to do something a little different today. And I wrote you all a letter. It's a personal letter from me to each and every one of you. And this is how it goes. Dear class of 2024, I live my life by 4 words: work hard, play hard. Unbeknownst to me at the time, I learned these words right here as a Baylor student during my Baylor experience. These words may seem cliche to you, but to me, these 4 simple words mean one thing: balance. See, there is no way you would be walking across that stage in 10 short days if you too have not learned to live by these words during your Baylor experience. Think of all the things you've had to balance during your time here: classwork, homework, teachers, advisors, extra help sessions, visits to the Learning Center, tests, essays, exams, AP courses, research papers, class presentations, after-school practices, after-school activities, athletic events, school plays, class trips, travel for sports, travel for competitions, Friday night football games, maybe detention the next day, homecoming and HOCO, Sadie and prom, and I could go on and on. Add to this list learning how to be a part of a team and how to celebrate victory together and agonize defeat together. Learning how to make friends, and sometimes the hard lesson of losing friends. And for added fun, maybe trying to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. That will really test your balancing skills. And let's not forget spending time with your family and trying to please your parents, who I am sure remind you quite often what an amazing opportunity they have given you by sending you to Baylor. And they are right. So clearly, your time at Baylor has been full, and we have kept you busy. And yes, time management and multitasking are skills you have learned. But what sets the Baylor experience apart are the guardrails we provide as you navigate your time here. The guardrails are the expectations of excellence, the expectations of faith and honor and magnanimitas. These expectations come in the form of rules and codes, creeds and songs. Being at class on time, signing your name to the honor code, chanting together, "We are Baylor," and singing arm in arm, "Forward ever be our watchword, conquer and prevail." These are the guardrails that have created a sense of unity, a sense of pride, a sense of community and belonging during your time here at Baylor. These guardrails have also served a secondary purpose: keeping you from the extremes. The extremes in life are where people typically find themselves in trouble. Too much or too little of anything is almost always a bad thing. Think of any topic: politics, religion, work, family, fun, eating, drinking, exercising. We see the extremes of politics dividing our country, the extremes of religion playing out in war. The extreme of working too much is having no time for fun. The extreme of too much fun is not accomplishing anything. And the list goes on. Think of life as a 1-lane highway with 4 or 5 foot medians on either side and guardrails on the outside of the medians. Work hard, play hard to me means trying to keep life in the center lane. Just like there is no such thing as perfection, there is also no such thing as being perfectly balanced. You are going to veer to the left or veer to the right, and when you hear the sound of the medians or even the rubbing of the guardrail, then you know you're out of balance. The trick is to pay attention to these cues life gives us and to adjust back to center. You have all experienced this feeling while you have been at Baylor. The Baylor experience, the support from teachers, teammates, coaches, friends, and family helped force you back in balance, back inside the guardrails. When I spoke to you on John Roy Baylor Day, I asked you to pay attention while you are here so that you will know that feeling of magnanimitas, so that you will know and feel and hopefully listen to your spirit, telling you if you are being great or if you need to adjust. As you leave the guardrails of Baylor, I am asking you once again to pay attention as you live your lives. If you find yourself out of balance, call upon what you have learned at Baylor. Call upon the codes and the creeds, the teachers, the coaches, the teammates, the friends, and the community that defined your experience. Just as they have not let me down as I have navigated my life, they will not let you down either. This is a gift Baylor has given you. Utilize it, play with it, refine it, and let it help you lead a balanced and happy life. I had the opportunity years ago to hear Bart Starr, a famed quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, speak here in the Baylor Chapel. Something he said stuck with me. He said, "In the pursuit of excellence, you will encounter greatness." His message was about the process of life. If your process is aiming for excellence, then along the way, you will encounter a great life. I would like to add to that and say, in the pursuit of balance, you will find happiness. I wish for all of you to have a happy, healthy, balanced life full of love and greatness. With love and gratitude, your friend and chairman of the board, Alexis Bogo. I'm so proud of all of you. Please be safe, make the most of your senior trip, have fun, and I'll see you at graduation. Go Big Red.
How about another round of applause for my two incredible classmates? Class of 24. Congratulations to you guys. There's so many faces out there that really gonna miss when we start school this August. I've absolutely loved sharing this time together. It's truly an honor to introduce our speaker today. I've known her for over 4 decades, and I'm not sure there's anyone who exudes the Baylor spirit more than she does. Christie has been an absolute champion of the Baylor School. Christie is a highly successful businesswoman and partner at ACA, yet is continually involved in everything Baylor. She is a donor, a volunteer, a phone-a-thon caller, a reunion planner, and community builder. She has been on our alumni board for 19 years and has served as the president of the Alumni Council. She has recently been elected to our board of trustees. She's an amazing mom, and I can't wait to see Rand follow in his mother's footsteps and the impact he will have here at Baylor. I'm proud to be a fellow alum, I'm proud to be a friend, and I'm proud to introduce Christie Dillard to the class of 24.
Greetings, class of 2024. I have the distinct honor and privilege of welcoming you into the alumni body of Baylor School as the 130th graduating class. As Scotty mentioned, I'm the current president of the Alumni Council, and I've loved my time serving in this role. In 10 days, you will graduate from this magical place and join the most powerful network you will ever join. You will join a network of over 8,000 alumni where you will immediately share a connection because of a mutual love of Baylor. Being here with you today, as Alexis and Chris mentioned, as well, is incredibly nostalgic. 27 years ago, I sat in these same seats in the same field house, full of anticipation for what was to come. While 27 years ago seems like a very, very, very long time ago, it also feels like it could have been yesterday. And I think you all got incredibly lucky with that Simon Says game. We had to square dance in really awkward groups. At the risk of making myself sound even older, I want to paint a picture for you of what this day was like for me. It was May of 1997. The year 1997 had been ingrained in my brain since the moment I arrived on this campus at 12 years old in the 6th grade. Bill Clinton was the president. Tiger Woods had just won the Masters for the first time. He was the youngest in history. The Spice Girls were the top of the music list. And the internet had just come on the scene. But you had to access it through your home phone line. So if your mom needed to make a phone call, you had to get off the internet. I had a cell phone, but it was massive, and it was housed in this briefcase that had to be connected to the car. If you've ever seen Saved by the Bell, it looked a lot like Zach Morris's phone. There was no texting, no Snapchat, no Google, no Netflix, no camera phones, no TikTok. The iPhone didn't even come on the scene for 10 more years. Laird Davis was the head of school, and Chris Angel was teaching chemistry and biology. Other Baylor greats were also here: Coach Clark, Ms. Zott, Bart Lofton, Chris Watkins, to name a few. While so many things have changed when comparing 1997 to today, many are exactly the same. I was packed and ready to go on the senior trip to the exact same place you will go. And then after graduation, I, like you, was about to embark on my next adventure. There were so many feelings rushing through my brain. Excitement to start at Sewanee in the fall, but sadness to leave the closest friendships I'd ever had. I had no idea the magnitude of opportunities that lie ahead of me and how many of them would be a direct result of a connection to Baylor. My time at Sewanee was amazing. I was immediately embraced and welcomed to campus by older alumni that came before me. So I definitely encourage you to do that as you get further in your college career and the classmates behind you come up. Reach out to them, make them feel welcome. I was incredibly prepared for my college experience because of Baylor, and it was obvious that I was prepared more than most. I was using what I learned in my classes at Baylor well into my Sewanee career, and then senior year quickly came, and then it was time to join the real world and get a job. Life after college took me to Memphis to begin a career in banking, and I remember sitting in my final interview with the president of First Tennessee Bank when he said, "Tell me more about Baylor. I want to send my kids there to be boarding students. It's an incredible campus, what a great school," and I didn't talk anything about everything I'd prepared. All I did was talk about Baylor. I got the job, my banking career was launched, and I worked in banking for 6 years before deciding this really isn't for me. No flexibility. I think I had to wear pantyhose every day. It was awful. What next? I had no clue. I called the director of alumni at Baylor at the time. It's the role that Kaylee Snyder's mom now has at Baylor. And I asked for ideas of people who were in various fields of study or work that I could call on to help me figure out my next move. Some were phone calls, but several turned into lunches or coffee dates, and my goal for these meetings was to learn more. What do you do? Why do you like it? What's your day like? How much flexibility do you have? What's your career path to get where you are? One of those meetings was with Justin Guthrie, who's in the class of 96. He's got 2 kids here, I believe a freshman in 7th grade. He had founded a company a few years earlier called Beacon Verification with another Baylor alum, Jeff Tremians, from the class of 92. The company focused on investment performance and ensuring that asset managers were prepared when a regulator came knocking, which I knew absolutely nothing about at the time. There were 11 people working for this company in 2007, and I became the 12th, and there were already 4 Baylor alumni that worked there. This 12-person company has now grown to over 1,500 people. We've been sold 4 different times. I'm proud to be an owner and lead global product sales for the commercial team. I've led meetings in packed boardrooms of many of the largest global asset managers, hedge funds, private equity firms in the world. I've had the opportunity to travel around the world and speak as a subject matter expert on investment performance. I'm extremely grateful for the opportunities I've been given, and it absolutely was a direct result of a Baylor connection. And we continue to hire Baylor alums. So if any of you major in finance, call me when you graduate. That's just one of many examples any Baylor alum will tell you about the Baylor Alumni Network. The body of over 8,000 people are doing some outstanding things in the world. Doctors, nurses, dentists, physical therapists, lawyers, bankers, scientists, engineers, investment bankers, fund managers, teachers, principals, artists, musicians, athletes, coaches, journalists, pilots, flight attendants, politicians. I could go on and on and on. Notable alumni that I thought you may be interested to hear about, the bassist for the band Old Crow Medicine Show, they sing Wagon Wheel, a former speechwriter for then Vice President Biden, the mayor of Chattanooga, marketing and director of brand management for Taylor Swift, a New York Times editor, a nationally recognized softball coach, Kelly Smith, many golfers on the PGA Tour, and so many other really cool things that Baylor alums are doing. We have alumni living on 6 of the 7 continents. Maybe one of you will take up residence in Antarctica one day. There are currently 200 legacy students currently enrolled at Baylor, and 32 of you in this graduating class. Wow. There are 103 Baylor marriages where an alum married another alum, and perhaps your future spouse is sitting in this room. Next week, you will receive an email inviting you to officially join Baylor Connects, the online networking tool for Baylor alumni. You will have endless data at your fingertips to search as you continue in your college careers and beyond. You can make your own list in a few years of the alumni that you want to reach out to as you embark on your career adventures. Please put me on the list if you're in finance. Baylor Connects will allow you to stay in contact with Baylor and with your classmates as well. I wish this tool was around when I graduated from Baylor. There will be so many other ways for you to stay connected through social media, coming home for alumni weekends, helping to plan your reunion one day, or perhaps serving on the Alumni Council or the Board of Trustees, maybe even as the president. The friendships you have formed during your time at Baylor will stay with you for the rest of your lives. My closest friends today are still the people I sat in this room with 27 years ago. It's an absolute joy to watch our children all grow up together. The shared love of Baylor will forever bond all of you and all the Baylor alumni together. When I think of you graduating today and the massive advances in technology, far away from dial-up internet and suitcase phones, I can only imagine how much easier it will be for you all to stay connected. I encourage you to make the effort to stay close to your classmates and Baylor. It will pay off in spades in your future. Congratulations to the class of 2024. I can't wait to see what you do in the world. We are all rooting for you, and may your futures be filled with much success and happiness. Go Big Red.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Let's give it up one more time for Christie Dillard. Thank you so much, Christie. So I've got two things to do, and then Skylar's going to come up and give us a benediction, and then we will head off up the hill for Awards Day. I'm going to deliver the O.B. Andrews Awards to you guys before we deliver them at Awards Day. This is something that we started, one of the gifts of COVID. We had all kinds of things that we had to accommodate for COVID several years ago, and one of them was we were trying to figure out ways to help the senior class feel special and have some of the special things that you guys had that we really couldn't do in the traditional ways that we had done them. And so we did this. We said, you know, this is an award that the students vote on, and why don't we deliver it to the students first? And so we did that, and it was really cool. And so we continued to do it the last 3 or 4 years. After I give out the O.B. Andrews Awards, when I call your name, I want you to just come up, I'll shake your hand. I'll actually physically give you the award when we get up to Awards Day, because we'll do it again. You guys as seniors will have special knowledge. Don't share it with anybody else. And then we'll give you the actual award at that time. After I do that, I've got a couple of housekeeping items, and then Skylar, I'll ask you to come up and deliver the benediction. So the O.B. Andrews Award, if you guys will remember, is given to the best all-around male and female seniors as determined by a vote of the upper school students. Our female O.B. Andrews recipient is a young lady who has managed to involve herself deeply in a variety of important Baylor experiences, most notably in community service, where she served as a holiday party chair, Respect Board member, and Jamaica tripper. A Joe Key recipient and FCA and wildlife leader, this student also served as this year's secretary of the Honor Council. So please join me in welcoming this year's female O.B. Andrews recipient, Lucy Kitzman. Our male O.B. Andrews recipient is a young man who brightens everyone's day with a friendly smile and a kind word. He's a member of the soccer team, a Joe Key Leadership Award recipient, founder and leader of Planet 2, and a prefect in Lupton Hall. I think we know who we're talking about here. Without further ado, this year's O.B. Andrews recipient is David Wang.